Hello, and welcome to this draw along video, which is kind of a tutorial, but not really. It's basically just going to be me drawing a page in my sketchbook and inviting you to maybe draw in yours. When it comes to theory, like the drawing theory, art theory, I'm a little bit barren when it, so I do have little pockets of knowledge when it comes to that sort of thing. I'm not totally ignorant to it, but it's not something that I choose to focus all that much energy on. So this is something that I hope will sort of bridge the gap between a tutorial type video, but I also want to maybe encourage people to join along, which hence why it's sort of a draw along thing. But also I'm sure there'll be something that I do that might be useful to you. And likewise, if there's anything that you pick up on that I should be doing, just let me know. I am very much open to hearing new perspectives on things. So today I'm going to be drawing some figures, some suits, in fact. So I'll just go through this sketchbook very quickly. So far I've done some figure studies, and then yesterday was some clothed with figures, clothed figures. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Here you go. And it's very much the same sort of thing all the way through this book, because something at the beginning of the month that I wanted to focus on the most was the human figure, which is something I've been practicing a lot over the last few years, sort of figuring out how to simplify things and learning little bits of anatomy, including memorising the skull and the skeleton in general. Also sort of learning how muscles work. Now, as a kid I was really into biology, so a lot of that sort of sunk in pretty easy for me, but that's not to say that I know any of the names of the bones or the muscles particularly, but I do know how they look to a degree, which certainly does help. Now, when it comes to fabric, that's a slightly different story. I'm still very much figuring things out. That's my chair, by the way. I've got this big honking metal chair that I'm on, so it might be a bit squeaky. But yeah, I want to focus in a little bit more on clothes, the clothed figure, which is what I've sort of been doing this week. So, this is Pinterest. This is typically where I find things when it comes to just little reference images that I might need for a particular theme. And I've just put men's suits in, and then we've got that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and talk through my process. Now, all of this sort of drawing on camera and talking isn't something that I typically do, so if I go quiet a bit, just bear with me. But like I say, if you want to join in, that'd be great. I'd love to see what you've done. If you do join in, yeah, well, let's get started, I guess. So for me, I typically start with the highest point of the body. Now, typically that's the head, but if someone's laid down on their side, or if they've got their arms up, or they're upside down or whatever, doing a handstand, that isn't always the case, but typically I start with the head, and if not, the highest point of the body. Now for these, I don't labour over trying to get a likeness. For the face, I try to just do a couple of marks, especially when I'm drawing something small like this, or at this scale. And for me, these are just like brief little studies. I don't necessarily want to labour over stuff too much. And I'm very open to mistakes, because that sort of helps me memorise things a little bit more, because my main goal for drawing these sort of things is to hopefully memorise bits and bobs and remember where it is I've gone wrong. So when it comes to drawing without a reference, I kind of, it's sort of like an internal thing, or a muscle memory thing, or whatever. So sort of taking my time. When it comes to the head to the shoulders, I tend to find that because I'm always looking for parallel lines, or lines that sort of, I can quickly measure things, so there's always sort of like a triangular shape, if you see what I mean. And typically, as far as I'm aware, the shoulder width, or the body width, is roughly 3 heads. Well, that's typically what I found it to be. I mean, of course, that isn't always the case. So I try and find this happy medium where I'm not rushing, but I'm not labouring over something too long. But now, I also don't add too much detail, or I try to leave a lot of things open. Now that probably should have come over there a little bit. And I tend to find the first study is always the worst, because it's the one where I'm a little bit more. So that wanted to be over there, that there, roughly, that there, that's there. It's a little bit too long. But again, I'm not really after a sort of like 100% likeness. I'm personally more interested in getting some sort of look, some close enough thing that I can hopefully memorise a little bit of. And as well as sort of drawing like this, I'd recommend continuous line drawing. If anyone knows if you know what that is, I might do another video like this. But what that does, it improves your line quality, and I've found it gives you a little bit more confidence, or it certainly gives me a little bit more confidence to take these huge sweeping lines like those of the leg just there, the trouser. And it also, because you've only got the one line to work with, it eliminates certain details that don't really matter too much. But that all depends on what sort of style it is that you're interested in doing. But when it comes to getting some confidence, I just realised you couldn't see any of that. Yeah, it's a useful tool. So the next video I do might be a continuous line one, if that'd be helpful. But yeah, for drawings like this, I mean, it's a relatively complicated kind of pose, this one. Like I say, lots of little mistakes. But overall, not too bad. Alright, so we've got next an advert. It's strictly a suit. We'll do that one. So this is kind of the first time I've done a drawing video like this, so yeah, I'm sure I'll probably end up making a few mistakes here and there in terms of what you can actually see on the camera, but something I'll work on for the next one. And like I say, I might end up making this a weekly thing or even maybe a daily thing, if people find it useful. I do have something else planned in terms of videos, which is going to be some daily references that people can use. Like a quick sketch type thing, so 3 minutes per image and roughly 5 images, because that kind of practice helped me a lot when it comes to gaining a bit of confidence with just using pen or just drawing in general. I mean, I'm very much someone who only draws with pen, so you know, that's sort of my approach. Typically is to draw a lot, at least an hour or two a day. Alright, so I wanted to curve in a bit more. Because at the end of the day, or what I've typically found, is it's all a matter of confidence. And as soon as you realise that it's only a drawing and it doesn't really matter, and every mistake that you make only helps make the next drawing a little bit better, I feel like it's takes the pressure off a bit, because I get quite a few people asking me, you know, how it is I just draw with a pen, or you know, to draw without an underdrawing. And as you can see, that, you know, my drawings aren't incredibly accurate. So maybe if you want to do something more realistic, you know, I recommend using those things. But for me, I find drawing with a pen more rewarding than labouring over 1 or 2 pictures a week. I've lost my train of thought there. So, but yeah, every little mistake, make as many as you can when it comes to this sort of thing. So it's actually quite a dark image, so I can't really see where that is, but that should have come there, shouldn't it, I think? And the knuckle. Still finding hands pretty tricky to draw when they're smallish, so that's definitely something I need to work on. How much detail to actually put in there for these things. It's a bit of a watch. Yeah, I think these, I can't really see them from here. This jacket should come down like that. But like I say, make those mistakes, because as well as it being confident, it's also being quite observant. And I feel like I'm kind of rushing this a little bit, so I'll slow down a bit. Yeah, definitely rushing this a little bit, I think. See if we can pull it back a bit. So that leg wants to be a bit straighter. There we go. So I think overall I've made him a bit wide, haven't I? But it's not perfect, but it'll do. And also look for the things that you like about each drawing. You don't have to condemn, something to the bin necessarily. There's going to be something in each thing that you do that works to some degree. So I feel like this is probably one of the worst drawings in this book, but I'm kind of glad in a sense. Because I do want to really nail down the idea of, make mistakes. And something else that might help, so I'll just do one more, see if I can fit a little one in. That might be an interesting one to do. So this will be quite a small one, I'll make it quite quick. Is the idea of overlapping lines as well, so I might not bother with the face on this one. Just not even see where there are any, but that'll make things give the appearance of 3D in a lot of ways. Just looking for these lines that overlap in a certain way. So, trying to find some examples. So like with this, if you put that line there like that, bear with me a minute. So like with this bit of the trouser. I don't know if you can see that. And then this part of the leg. Let's see if I can quickly do that. So that goes over like that. So that will give the impression of it jutting out a little bit. And then the lines seem to go a bit like that. So I suppose what I'm trying to get at is look at each line that you're going to do and see it almost as a 3D thing, the curves and how they relate to the things around them. Now, hopefully that makes sense. These probably aren't the best, especially a little drawing like this probably isn't the best example, but it might be something that I'll touch on in a later video. Of course, let me know if you'd like to see something more along those lines. So I'm going to run out of page there, aren't I? Let's see if we can fit his glasses on. A little bit too big. A little triangle for his nose. So I think we'll leave it there. So this was kind of an experiment for me to see whether I could do it more than anything. But if you found this at all useful, or if there's ways that I can maybe improve this style of video, please let me know. That would be really useful. And if you have joined in with this little thing, please let me know. Please share it on social media, especially on Instagram. That's typically where I'm most sort of active. Because I would genuinely, if I can get my words out, like to see it. And I think we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you later on in the week. Toodaloo.